Good morrow, good people. It's your girl, Rainier the Cruel, back for another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. Of course, I'm not here alone. I am joined by my amazing Lord Hand, the one and only cool ass Kyron, aka K Rich. What's going on?
What's happening, my Grace? How you feeling? Is it my Grace or your Grace? I guess it should be your Grace, right?
I guess it's your grace, but it could
Yeah,
be my grace for all
your
intents and
Grace.
purposes. Whatever.
I would have said what's going on, Rachel, but you didn't give me permission to speak your name.
Come on. Everybody ain't able.
Allison out here hitting bars with that one. Hey, Allison had some bars this episode. I ain't gonna hold you. Fuck her, but she still
Oh,
had a
no.
couple little funny moments.
So many
Um,
moments.
yeah, man. But we here. We back. Another week. Another week We Got Y'all.
Yeah,
Much love to everybody tuning in. Thanks for
for
listening.
sure.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate y'all. House of the Dragon, season 2, episode 5. Um, listen, tell y'all right now, niggas is tired, man. There's unrest. There's unrest all over the realm.
For
No
sure.
matter where you go, the Riverlands, King's Landing, all of it, and that includes our cribs too.
For sure.
You know,
For
your,
sure.
your Grace and her hand are tired, so we're gonna get through this. But if it gets slap happy and all over the place, don't mind us.
Don't
Don't
mind
mind us
us.
at all.
And
But
also
we
don't
here.
mind me because I'm back on the road. You see we have our throne backgrounds, but my digital looks like fucking Dilbert.
It is. It is what it is. If you, it might. In other words, it might be a good week to listen. You know what I mean? If you just want to listen on your Google, but Ray P hyping it for real, man. She looks great. It's just a little pixelated, just a tad
Yeah.
bit, nothing crazy. Like it's still clear, but you know,
Yes.
nigga doing a robot, man. But anyway, we jaw jacking.
Yes, let's get to it.
Yeah, man, let's get into it. If you please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Anybody who is watching House of the Dragon, please let them know that you have a podcast they need to check out. Shoot them our way. They will
For
definitely
sure.
be entertained, at least in my humble opinion. If not, their money back. We ain't charging shit, so it's kind of a freebie.
For
But
sure.
if you're new here, just want to remind everyone there will be spoiler alerts, there will be explicit content. We are discussing these episodes from the show perspective, not the book. We might sprinkle some book things in there, but if you are
Mhm.
looking for a more in-depth like review into the world and like who can ride a dragon, there's all kind of articles and things like that. George R. Martin actually just wrote a blog. I didn't even know niggas still wrote blogs, but he wrote a blog a couple weeks ago about who can ride a dragon, all types of things. I'll actually put it in the episode description in case y'all want to check out some additional content. But that's a long-winded way of saying we don't get into all that. We're pretty much talking about what we saw. It's going to be a general conversation, and we are excited to be here with you to have that convo. Before I get your initial thoughts, Rachel, I do just want to give some people some credit.
Yeah.
Once again, season 2, episode 5, titled Regent, directed by Clara Kilner, written by T. McKell, based on the book Fire and Blood by George R. Martin, and House of the Dragon is currently streaming on Max. This week, the synopsis: amid whispers of bad omens, the Greens consider how to fill a void on Aegon's council.
Mm.
Jacaerys sets out on a rogue mission to strike a deal. Daemon enlists Lord Willem Blackwood to help persuade the Brackens to bend the knee. This is episode 5, Rachel. We got 3 more after this to complete season 2. What were your opening thoughts on this episode?
Before I get into that, I just wanted to shout out our girl Shara Maria because she sent we had a good little conversation in the chats
Okay, then.
on We Got Y'all Pod. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that. So shout out to her for being a faithful listener and always having commentary for whatever we record and also that support. So into the episode 5, Regent. I did not love this episode. I liked it. but I did not love it. The first watch, it was, I don't want to say a bit of a bore, but it was. But the second and third time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. I see where we're going. I don't want to call it a filler episode, but it's a filler episode because I think next week we get back to the shit.
Yeah. Do you think that is, and I'm sure this is the answer, um, the high that we were on last week with last week's episode and how incredible it was? Do you think it's just because we're coming off after that, or do you think just generally you just kind of felt about this episode?
Oh no, I just felt generally about this episode. I understand why it's important. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of Damon being in Heron Hall. We said that last week. Like, get the fuck out of there. We'll have that discussion. It was, again, on second and third watch, it was more entertaining and more interesting, I guess, than the first go around. But it is hard to come off of last week and it be a low action, uh, drama, less drama filled episode. How about
Yeah,
you?
no, I feel you. No, you said it's not a filler episode, and I understand what you mean because House of the Dragon overall is too good of a show to
Mm-hmm.
really have filler episodes. I'm not saying they're not allowed to have them, but even their quote unquote filler episodes are better than a lot of television. So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to call them fillers. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying there. If I make a cross reference, so y'all know me, reference rich. Um, this episode is like your season 2 of The Wire,
Mm.
right? When season 2 of The Wire came out, there was a lot of grumbling because a lot of things changed. Aesthetically, it looked different. Have a lot of new characters. Some of the storyline and focus for that season were there. And when you generally talk to people about The Wire, season 2 is put at the bottom of their list as far as favorite
Mhm.
seasons. Now, for me, being a Wire savant, that lets me know one thing, which is you've only seen The Wire once. Because
Mm.
if you've seen The Wire multiple times, you know how important season 2 is, and you
Yeah.
don't get the phenomenon and the beautiful work of art that's season 3 if you don't have the setup of season 2, and you
Mm-hmm.
really start to appreciate season 2 a lot more. And it's one of those where you go back and look like, oh man, I forgot that happened this season, or I
Yeah.
forgot this happened this season. And I think this episode is going to serve that
Mm.
purpose, not right now, but I think when we circle back at the end of this season, we'll look at episode 5 like, oh, that set up these last 3 episodes perfectly.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's one of those where, yeah, I know we can't have dragon fights every week. I know we're not going to have battles every single week. And I don't necessarily want that every single
Mm-hmm.
week. I don't need a blood and cheese situation or any of that. I
Yeah.
will take a dance of the dragon every week, but I know we're not going to get it. But my point being is sometimes you do need these solid setups. And I will tell you one thing, Rachel. I
Mm-hmm.
felt the same way as far as like, all right, I'm not really moved by this. It's good. I appreciate it. Good quality television. I'm not moved. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like eager to talk about it the same way we have been with some past episodes.
Yeah.
But the ending of the episode and introducing the idea of dragon seeds and other people riding these dragons,
Mm-hmm.
because for some reason it was lost upon me that they even had 2 more dragons. Well, I know we talked about it, but I guess I wasn't aware that they were like accessible and right there. So
Yeah.
even bringing the idea of who else could ride these dragons, that
Mm-hmm.
was that was exciting to me, and it made me hyped for next week. And I always look at the schedule, and we got 3 episodes left. It's got to go up. It's got to
Yeah.
go up from this point. So that's kind of how I felt overall, but it wasn't anything to really write home about.
Yeah. And not just Vermithor and the other one. Um, there is also Sea Smoke, which
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Sea Smoke. I forgot about Vermithor and Silverwing.
Silverwing, that's the other one. Yeah. They're all in the pit.
Just
Chilling.
waiting on riders. And obviously, this has to be a setup for the Dragon Seeds, which we've been speaking of.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
we've been teasing, I think, ever since episode 3, like these characters that you're just getting, some uh, minimal time with, they're going to play a big role
Yeah.
in this story. I didn't know if it was going to be as early as this season. We'll see what happens. I still don't know if Buddy at the the tavern. I still don't know if he's really the bastard brother, but we'll find out in due time, and we'll see.
Off is somebody's bastard. I do believe that. I just don't believe he's Balon's bastard.
Yeah, 100%. He got bastard written all over him.
For sure. And before we kind of get into it, I was looking at Whole, and I'm like,
Alan and Adam,
huh?
like Adam and Alan Hole.
Oh no, what's the blacksmith's name?
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it might be that. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I was looking at him and I was like, okay, I could see where there might be a little Targaryen hair in there somewhere. Like the color of his hair obviously is not as stark as the actual true Targaryens, but it's lighter than a lot of the other people that we saw. I don't want to call them the townspeople. So very interesting. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I could see. We got to figure out who he's from because I haven't Googled it, but interesting.
Hugh Hammer.
Hugh, not Whole.
Hugh Hammer, played by an actor who spells his name the same way as I do, except for he uses an A instead of an O. Interesting. That's big over there, though. And
he spells his name like what?
He spells his name the same way I do, except for instead of an O, he has an A. So it's Kieran is how he spells his name.
Is it Kieran, probably?
I would imagine Kieran, probably, because I get mispronounced for Kieran all the time. So it's probably Kieran. We can go with that. But yeah, he's Dragon Seed. It'd be hard not to imagine him riding a dragon or claiming a dragon. I keep thinking about Cisco in my head every time I say riding the dragon and shit. Unleash the dragon, all that shit. I would imagine. Now, I don't know this. Once again, we're not into the books. I won't say we're not into them. We just never read them. So we're not well versed on them. But I would like to think that we'll talk about Lord Corlys this episode, but we know after last week he has a bastard child, and it looks like 2 bastard children. He's going to have to answer about this hand of the queen request. And I wonder during that conversation if it's brought up, hey, I'm looking for dragon riders. Who knows? I don't know. I just imagine one of them riding a dragon as well.
One of who?
The Holes. Either probably Adam. Adam's. I can't remember. Is Adam the one who saved him, or is it Alan?
Alan is who saved.
Okay, so I can see Alan being a dragon rider as well. Him being Dragon Seed. I don't know. I'm just guessing. There's probably people who are well versed in the books who are listening right now. And like,
I don't think it's Alan. I think I'm standing firm on Alan getting Driftmark, despite what we saw towards the end of the episode. We'll get into it. Yeah. But when we saw maybe episode 3, when we met Adam, he's the one who saw the dragon. So I think he is the one who will become a rider.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. Because he was getting those crabs. Out the sand. Yeah, you're right. All right. Good. All right. Good call.
We'll see.
Let's go ahead and get into it, Rachel. Let's get into it. I guess it's only right to start at the opening.
For sure.
Obviously, after the events of last week, we know there was some casualties. We weren't 100% sure of the status of King Aegon II, the usurper. We see Meleys, and that really made me sad, man.
Yeah.
They just carting around Meleys' head at King's Landing. Aegon is covered up because they don't want people to know that the king is battered and bruised.
Yeah.
Damn near dead.
Bruised and impaled.
Yes. Bloody bruised and impaled. Shot. Hey, if you know, you know. But yeah, the traitor Meleys, the traitor dragon Meleys, they're claiming it around. It's almost like they thought, and Sir Kristen Cole even said it, like, you would think that we lost the battle. And Gawain told him pretty much like strange victory if it was one. Like, what did we win? Yeah, what did we really win in the grand scheme of things. We lost 900 men. We possibly lost our king. We lost the
My
dragon,
nephew.
yeah, my nephew. Exactly. Great point. I you know what? I didn't even think about it like that, Rachel. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
And you are this dragon head. You think it's a stunt, but it's really a bad omen.
For sure.
That's
As
how
to
people are
which the
taking it.
townspeople were saying. Um, I am very surprised at Amon that he let this fly. We know what Amon is, quote unquote, in the words of his mother, the bitch queen Alicent. We know what Amon is. However, we saw Amon be a student of the histories and learning High Valyrian and really being what Aegon should have been as the firstborn son. However, I am very surprised that he let this fly, given what the dragon means to the Targaryen family and the Targaryen name. It's a symbol of their house specifically. Despite you and Rhaenyra being on different sides, you both are true born Targaryens, both magnificent dragon riders. I'm fully of the belief that this was Sir Kristen Cole's idea to parade Meleese's head. And of course, you have to have some element of distraction. But candidly, you don't even need that. You still could have carried Aegon in that box because the townspeople don't even know that that nigga flew his drunk ass out into Rick's Rest.
Right. I'm sure a couple people did just because of dragging over the city. But to your point, Rachel, not
Yeah.
enough to where it's really a thing. Like people are probably in the dark to it because there
Mhm.
are still whispers about Aegon. And even because remember when they were trying to escape the city, orders of Prince Aemon, and
Yeah.
she said, Aemon, does she mean king? So there was some confusion. Like, hold on, why is Aemon giving out orders? So you right on that end.
Yeah.
Two things, real
Mhm.
quick. Do you think Aemon let it fly because one, he's not King Regent yet, so nobody's really in charge. So maybe he didn't step up to say anything. And two, because yes, everything you said about being a Targaryen and a dragon rider and that being symbolic means something, but does he look at it in the sense of a traitor is a traitor? So I
No,
don't care what it is. No,
no.
okay.
I thought you were gonna say, is Aemon gonna end up setting Kristen Cole up for the okey doke? And that is what I believe. I've used you. I got what I wanted.
I think Sir Kristen, who's going to advise Aemon?
I don't
Even not
need you.
advise, even if it's not an advise, who's going to be there if I need some shit done?
You can do some shit, but the reality is that I don't really need you.
Yeah, but who takes that spot? Like you need somebody that can be on the ground. I think
I
Sir Kristen
can
Cole is
call
too
my
valuable.
grandfather back.
I don't think he fuck with him either.
He and Otto, think back. He and Otto did not have a tumultuous relationship. Again, maybe I'm putting too much on that conversation. Moves are being made that you don't even know about. The camera leaves them. Otto doesn't leave the room. We just switch scenes. They continue their conversation unbeknownst to us, whatever they're saying.
I think Aemon has to take an L before he smartens up to call Otto back. I don't think that's something he just does on his own. He has to take a significant L and say, okay, I really need somebody in who knows what they're talking about that can help me out. Like, in my personal opinion, because I don't know exactly what Aemon's age is,
Mm-hmm.
but he is still young, and we know what it's like to kind of be young and full of ourselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need a little bit of a humbling because Aemon hasn't really, other than his eye and being clowned by his older brother, Like he ain't really taking too many L's. Like there's not too much that you can say about Aemon. That anybody who's ever laughed at Aemon, shit done turn bad for him.
Yeah.
Like literally going back to season 1. Anybody who laughs at Aemon, shit goes bad for him. So I think that he's smelling himself.
Yes.
And I think he's gonna keep Sir. I think we talked about it last week, man. Sir Kristen Cole, regardless of how we feel about him,
he's good at
what he does.
But also he doesn't know the histories. Otto does. All he has is his own name that he's trying to make for himself. This is the thing. I don't think Aemon will want anybody else making a name for themselves on his back, which is why I think his going forward, his use of Kristen will not be as prevalent as we've seen thus far.
I got you. So just for a quick rundown, Aemon is 16 right now. And I remember it being a lot of confusion because obviously the actor who plays him is 27. He doesn't look 16, but Aemon is 16, Aegon's 18, Helena's 17.
Yeah.
So that's the age of the children back to back to back. There's other ages here as well, but since we're just talking about, Jace is 16, Baela's 16. So all of them are the same age. So these are some, the youngest in charge, as they say. I don't know, man. I think about 16-year-old me having all that power and being the strong. Damn, hold on. The most powerful force in the realm with the largest dragon is 16. That's just kind of wild.
It's crazy.
That's
what's one man gonna do with all that power? He does not need it.
Hard to be humble when you're stunting on a jumbotron.
Come on.
We're gonna talk about Aemon and actually becoming regent later. So let's go ahead and continue into this King's Landing, because obviously, like we mentioned, they're carrying Aegon's body in, Rachel. Peeling off the Valyrian steel is almost like, damn, bro. I'm Lord, you might as well take me.
Yeah, you might as well would have left me out there.
Yeah, leave me out here because it looks like a long road ahead. What do you think about the work that they're doing, and what do you ultimately think is going to become of Aegon II?
Well, he should have died a dragon rider's death himself. His injuries are crazy. Now, I do have a little backstory, so I don't want to give any spoilers to Aegon, but I'm very curious as to what goes on. We did hear him call for his mother when Alicent took her ass back in there, but I'm very curious as to what way the show will go with.
I got you.
What happens with Aegon's injuries?
Yeah, and if anybody watched the previews for next week, I see Aegon talking. It's more so I just wonder how long he's going to be in that state and if he's ever going to be fit to rule again and how that whole thing will work. One thing we didn't talk about, though, just real quick. Well, hold on. Before I even get to that, I just want to point out your man's Aegon is fucked up badly.
Yeah.
How did he survive that shit? That's what I want to know. How did he even survive? It had to be the Valyrian steel armor, right?
It had to be the Valyrian steel. And remember, which I'm curious of, because even though Aemon, Dracarys, Aegon, they got fire blood, the blood of the dragon. So I don't think that while you're burnt, but you may not be destroyed by that. I think maybe it's the fall is what's got his injuries so bad, which is what I think took Rhaenys out. It's obviously more so the fall.
Rhaenys was 70 as well.
Yeah. So exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they could have done without. No. I looked up her age as well. She was 70.
Oh, she was 70.
Corliss is 75. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They look good.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? They could have saved me the broken leg. I could have done without that.
Yeah.
But just overall, Aegon, he down bad, man. We're gonna see how it works out.
Bad.
But just real briefly,
into his skin.
Yeah. He looked like I said, like if I wake up, like y'all should have left me, bro.
Yeah, just let me
But
die
y'all,
here.
yeah. Like I get in Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan was talking about leave me. And
Yeah,
Forrest picked his ass up. I get what he meant. Like, bro, listen, my legs is gone. I'm all fucked up out here. Just let it finish it off.
yeah,
But all I was going to mention earlier is when they're taking Aegon in, we see the shot of Aemond and Alicent overlooking everything. And there were no
hmm,
words spoken, but there was so much power in that
for
silence
sure.
where
Okay.
Aemond doesn't even address Alicent. He knows she's there, but he doesn't really address her directly. And she sees that dagger, that Valyrian steel, and she
Mhm.
knows.
Yeah,
Which leads me to obviously Aemond coming in the room and not really having concern for his brother, but just wanted to highlight that, hey, we need somebody to rule while he's down.
yeah.
And Alicent goes to look for some of her own answers. So what did you think about the scene with her and Kristen Cole when she wants to know what happened out there?
Why wouldn't I go ask my man what happened? My man was there. I'm gonna get this firsthand account. Allison, really, until this episode, and we said it last week, I called her a MAGA mom, but she doesn't understand how the game goes. And it's crazy to me. All this preparing your father did you, and you ain't pick up not one thing, not for real, for real. So I wasn't mad at Kristen for keeping it low, but also, damn, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded. And also, maybe I'm recanting. Maybe I'm recanting. I don't think so all the way, but I have. There's a little bit that I'm taking back from my thoughts last week on Kristen not knowing that Aemon was planning to kill Aegon out in that field. Now I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe he did see a little more than I thought he did. Um, or maybe now he sees Aemon for what he is and he didn't know. I do think he's a little scared of Aemon, where I didn't think he was before.
To quote the great Ray P, I be knowing. I be knowing. Now it's funny since we're throwing out ages this episode just to give everybody a timeline. It's funny because Sir Kristen Cole is 39. So and Alice is 37 and
Yeah.
Rhaenyra is 32.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Hmm.
the shocker, you know what the shocker is?
What?
Otto Hightower is only 55.
See?
You telling me he's 15, 20 years younger than Rhaena and
Rhaenys and
um
Corlys.
Rhaenys and Corlys? Yes, that's just wild. But also,
That's where the money is at.
yeah, that's real.
Hide your money,
Yeah.
y'all. It's poor people.
That's a good point. So we have, if we just stay here for a while, since we're talking about Aegon, do you want to talk about the council meeting, or do you want to go ahead and just bounce to, you want to bounce to the council in Black first?
No, we can stay in Green. We can stay in King's Landing.
All right.
So,
So all right, set the table. We got Alicent meeting with Grandmaster Orwyn, asking if her son's gonna live, what the status is. Hey, it's with the gods now. You know what I'm saying? To that famous meme, that famous gift, it's above me.
It's above me now. Yeah, hey.
It's above me now. You know what I mean? We do need to name a regent. Alicent, hey, I've done this before. Matter of fact, I'm the only person at this table who has done this before. We can go ahead and put my name in the drawing. However, you are a woman. That was during peacetime. This is wartime. Yeah. We need somebody that the people are going to fear. What you think about this whole scene? Because it was real slick how the council, they don't owe Alicent anything, and they really played her to the left. They played women to the left this entire episode. Maybe this entire series, however you want to look at it. But a lot of slick maneuvering, a lot of people having to claim their alliances at that table.
For sure.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. I know I don't like Larys, but man, he a slick motherfucker.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Larys is a cold motherfucker. First
attention off me. He know how to look at a situation and maximize his potential.
For sure. For sure. So again, to my point, Allison doesn't know why the cage bird sings. She seems to be the only one in the dark as to what is happening. Because the reality is that the rest of the council, they knew they were picking Aemon when them fools got back from Rook's Rest.
Mhm.
It was never going to be Allison. And the fact that she thought because she ruled again with her father, under her father's command and under his thumb while Viserys was living, it doesn't matter. It matters not how straight the gate home, girl. You have no skill. Your skills are not transferable in this moment. It doesn't matter. And I've said it every episode, the patriarchy of it all. Larry said, what would it be for us to raise a woman when we are fighting Rhaenyra for this very same thing? Baby, it's not going to be you. I can't believe you didn't think this through. Lyra said, what foot picks? Allison looked to him thinking that she had an ally because she didn't know any better. She, in fact, don't be knowing.
Right.
And then to have
And
to look at, this is a thing when you use your body as currency. These niggas don't be having your back. These niggas do not, in fact, be your niggas. You just showing feet to Lyris to get all the secrets and get whatever it is that you needed to know. You fucking Christian outright and get nothing from this nigga. He's played in your face ever since he got a little piece of power. The more he's elevated, the more he shits on you. And what you do? Keep giving him some ass. Girl, Ray tried to tell you
hey,
this nigga was a clown.
hey man, like Bernie Mac said, but when you give her the dick, you know what I'm saying? You kind of got a hold of things. You got a hold of things. But in
Yeah.
the long run, this is to quote the original series, the game of
Mm-hmm.
Thrones. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is strategic. This is chess. It's not checkers. Allison, as you said, greatly, Rachel. She should know better.
Yeah.
She should know better, bro. Like it is really a what have you done for me? This is all the barter system. This is negotiation. This is politics. Politics, I don't care how far back you go in history,
Yeah.
politics have always said the same. They've always done the same thing. It's
Come on.
always the same game being played.
Yep.
I have this to offer you. I need this from you. What can we do?
Yep.
What can you offer me to make me stronger? What can I offer you to make you stronger? It's never a like I'm gonna give up a bunch of assets and just like bow out. Nah, nigga, this is a even key. Like we both have to benefit from this.
That part.
And
That part.
Allison, what do you have right now to give anyone that's gonna make them side with you?
She
Us
has
than other
nothing.
exactly. And other than Grand Maester, who really doesn't he doesn't strike me as someone who even wants to get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So just off GP, I've been spending time with you. I bought you the plan T, as you like to famously say. You know, I've been talking to you about your son. I can recognize the humane feeling of you being a mother and watching your
Mm-hmm.
son in this state. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on your behalf because I did serve your husband as well, and those were good years.
Yeah.
You know, those are good years. That's what everybody talks about. 80 years of peace. We was
Mm-hmm.
all good. Now it's time to step up. And I've seen these kids grow as well.
Yeah.
And that little motherfucker, Aemon One Eye, as Damon says, I'm scared if he's the one in power. So that's probably what Grand Mason was saying. But everybody else is scared of Aemon on some what will he do to me if I don't speak up
If
for him?
I don't, exactly, he's going to get Vagar on us if we don't go for him. And again, this puts Kristen Cole in a precarious situation because he had to know that with the plan he and Aemon were setting up, despite Aegon not being a part of that, he had to know at some point there would be some sort of play for the throne on Aemon's behalf. And so now you're between a rock and a hard place because here's this with the king. Allison already done had an abortion. You can't control Aemon. I can get Aegon to do whatever. There is no control that he could possibly have over Aemon, who also has a dragon. who is a fierce swordsman. Despite learning from you, I can beat you now. It's nothing you can do with me. And I got
We
to
ain't
look
little
my
no more.
bitch in the eye and basically tell her, fuck her, on behalf of her son, who I'm scared of.
Yeah, I just want to highlight again. Oh, good.
It's partly
I'm
my
sorry. Go
fault
ahead.
as well. Tricky.
Very much so. I just want to highlight one more time before we jump away from this scene. Lord Laris, that's my type of petty, because I don't know if everybody know y'all fucking, but I know y'all fucking.
I
So
know.
let me just put a little razzle dazzle in this conversation. Let me put this heat off of me and say, you know what? The hand speaks for the king's voice. What you think? You think it should be your girl? The woman you fucking?
It was the way he looked at Kristen Cole, like, nigga, say something.
Yeah. What you gonna say? What you gonna do, huh? Y'all, you gonna dog your girl in front of her, huh? Some people just want to see shit burn, and that's what Laris is. I just want to start some little funny shit.
Let's jump
Eamon
over.
didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Eamon just didn't hesitate. He jumped up right in that front seat, started making commands. Obviously cut down those fucking rat catchers as well. Yeah. I know you were gonna say, do you want to jump over to Black? But before we do, I do want to follow up this conversation about Cole and Allison, right? Okay. So since we just finished talking about him, it only makes sense because we see Cole at the council meeting, and Rachel, something you always say, nigga, put your shoulders back, nigga, stick your chest out, put your head up, stop looking down on the ground like some little kid, not able to face. If you're gonna get buck, my nigga. Like, do that shit valiantly.
That's it.
Like, don't whisper it under your breath because you scared. Like, really state your piece. You are in the position right now.
Yep.
To really speak on the king's behalf. If you want to say Allison, say Allison. Fuck what Eamon got to say.
Right.
Because you Cole with it too. You got to have that same confidence Eamon has. This little young boy shouldn't be having more confidence in you, Chris Cole.
That part.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm that nigga too. Like, I'm that nigga too. That's how he should be carrying. But now he got the head down, soft voice, all this other shit. And we learn later in the episode, Allison, once again, don't like her at all, but she has some bars. Has your loyalty faded? Listen, has your loyalty faded, or does it only flourish at night and flee at sunrise like a moth? You good with me when you hitting, but when we in public, and I need you to have my back, you ain't got my back. Now, Kristen Cole says, and I feel it. I was out there on that field. You have no idea how much we have no control of this shit. We gave this war to the dragons. A dragon rider needs to go ahead and lead it because that shit that I saw out there, that ain't for the weak. Yeah. And he also played the role of I spared you. Like, you don't want to be this person. Like, I spared you the duty of having to do something so terrible. You know what I'm saying? Is that who you are? Is that who you want to be? Pretty much, he asked. He said, Allison, is that who you want to be, Allison? And she hit him with the cold line. You know, I don't give you permission to speak my name. Like, nigga, I'm your queen. Queen consort or queen, what is it?
Dowager.
Dowager, yes, thank you. What do you think about that scene, Rachel?
I loved that because, again, Allison doesn't know how any of this works. I appreciate stepping to her man because I get it. If I can't say shit to nobody else, I'm definitely going to come say something to you. My brother's not even privy to this, so I can't even have an ally in my brother. Now, what I am going to do is go ask him what the hell happened out there because I don't understand why we ain't see Gawain no more, because that would have been my next stop after visiting Aegon and his sick and shut in bed. But again, I don't think Kristen Cole, because he's from Dorne, he doesn't really know about the dragon shit. A dragon is a dragon is a dragon. But until you see a dragon flame broiling 900 men just in one fell swoop, there is nothing that can really prepare you for that, especially if you are not well versed in dragon shit.
Yeah, that's real.
You could have fought 10,000 battles, but here's the other part to that. Them Rooks rest people, they was fucking them up with their javelins and swords and whatnot and bows and arrows. So not only were we low-key getting our asses kicked anyway, then Big Maylease comes through breathing fire. When we saw the battlefield and he went to tap that other soldier who was in an iron suit, who fell over as complete ash, there's nothing that I can do with that. Baby, what?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm supposed to contend with? At some point, I have to get back out there. And I know that even though Maylease is gone, there's at least 3 more dragons over here. He may not know about Vermithor, Sea Smoke, and Silverwing, but Jace got a dragon. Rhaenyra got a dragon. You
Damon
seen
got a
Jayla's
dragon.
dragon. I'm scared if I'm him. And so, to his point, we need somebody who ain't gonna be scary. And you don't know, because you might have ridden the dragon with Rhaenyra, but you don't know the power and the force and all of that, because you've gotten rid of a lot of our dragon shit for your 7 steps shit anyways. So he was right. But I appreciate, nigga, don't say my name. Fuck you.
Yeah, and just from a production standpoint, I just want to give credit to the show, because the reason that scene hits so hard, you can have that same exact scene where Kristen Cole describes what it's like in the battlefield. But last week, the show did a great job of making us. We were looking from Sir Kristen's point of view, right? We saw him knocked out on the ground. We saw him get up. We saw him stumbling. We're looking at the battlefield from his perspective as well, like directly as a character in the show. Yeah. So it almost feels like, okay, then now as viewers, we understand what he's saying, because damn, I've seen this shit too. I've seen dragon feet squish 3-4 people at a time. I saw the man turn into ash. I see the dragons just up in the sky fucking shit up. Like it's up. Like, and I just thought that was brilliant storytelling.
Lady, look at your son. A dragon did that. What you want me to do? We don't have none. Yeah. If right now all we have is Vhagar, again, Rhaenyra got 50-11 dragons over in Driftmark, in her keep, in her care, riderless or not. They're hers and with her, and they know her, whether she fuck with him or not.
Right. No, that's a good point. Real quick, Rachel, I just realized that we're almost out of Team Black or Team Green. So let me just hit a couple quick points, because it was a very Team Black heavy episode.
For sure.
More than Green. We covered most of Green. So let me hit the last few points. We talked about Hugh Hammer. We get a scene again of him with his family. His daughter's getting sicker. His wife is pretty much saying, yo, we got to bounce. There's nothing good here. My brother can take me if we leave. I'm not going to turn into a beggar. But eventually he realizes, you know what? We do need to leave. Yeah. I know the king has promised me payment. That payment is going to be able to feed Ghost. Like, bro, there's nothing coming from that. Let's get up out of here. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Obviously, we also see them trying to leave the city, and the city being shut down per Aemon's orders. That's something to keep an eye on. Don't want any word to spread about what's going on in King's Landing, so you might as well keep everybody locked up. They want meat. No meat to be found. Everybody's starving.
The way them ravens be flying, whether you let us out of this death trap or not, the people go no, because people have already fled. Things haven't gotten better. So we may not be able to hear what's going on specifically here with y'all, but you know what? We know what's going on everywhere else. So we can only imagine. The blockade is here. The blockade ain't in all them other places.
Yep.
We know that.
Yeah, we know it's not gonna help.
Aemon is a tyrant. Keep that in mind, Aemon One Eye. Okay, go ahead.
So we'll circle back to the city being shut down, because Rhaenyra obviously knows this as well as Alicent Rivers. So we'll circle back to that. Alicent and Aegon at the end of the episode, just a scene of a mother and their son. Whatever. Just wanted to highlight that did happen. But the last thing I wanted to point out, Aemon One Eye.
Mm-hmm.
The thing he's been looking for his whole life.
Uh-huh.
That thing that sits behind us in our backgrounds right now, Rachel.
Yeah.
That Iron
Yeah.
Throne. What do you think of Helena coming up and asking, was it worth the price?
He said, hell yeah, didn't he?
What do you think about Helena? No, Helena, we talk about Helena. Helena knows her brother.
Come
She
on.
knows her baby brother.
Come on.
I know you fucked that nigga up.
I believe I said it either in episode 1 or in episode 2, because that's blood and cheese, I think.
Episode 1
Helena,
was blood and cheese.
huh?
Episode 1 was blood and cheese, and episode 2 was the Eric and Eric fight.
Oh,
Eric and Art.
oh, yeah. Okay. Whichever. Helena and Eamon have a special relationship. She is the only one who can go and say, was it worth it? Because again, I believe that they were having an affair. I believe that he was gentle with her. She would think back to season 1. Eamon said he would have married Helena because remember, Aegon didn't want to.
Yeah.
So we have a different special relationship. I'm a seer. I know the things.
Yeah.
Whether you understand me when I'm articulating that I know the things or not, but you know that I know them. So I'm going to come to you in the shadows of the throne room. Was it worth it? And she knew what his answer would be regardless.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it. And I liked that it was her.
I like that it was her. I really did, because I always have I always tip my hat to the ones who just are low key.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say much, but I peep everything. Like I get what that's like, and Helena's that was a perfect definition of that, and she knew. Like I think that's more of anything. Like I knew, like the answers that Allison is looking for. I don't have to ask those questions because I know what happened on that battlefield.
For sure.
I know exactly what happened, and
Yeah.
I know you. So, so that's what pretty much happens with Team Green this episode. There are some intersecting ideas that take place, but let's go ahead and shift it over to Team Black. Rachel,
Hold on. Before we leave, did you see who Elinda went to visit when she snuck over to King's Landing?
I know I recognize her. Was that the woman in the brothel when they got her ass slapped?
Yes.
And that's the one who got yes, season 1. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
with the words from Mysteria. Okay.
something obviously something to keep an eye on. Like I said, these next 3 episodes, they are setting it up perfectly.
For sure. So let's
go
get
to
back
the Black Council meeting.
For sure. Sir Alfred is still causing problems in the Black Council. He cannot help himself. And he was pissing me off. I think he irritated me more this week than he did last week. Just because, especially now, it's not the time. We just lost Rhaenys. And I know that you may think that you're doing me a service, but you're not. Like, you're pissing me off and sowing seeds of discord amongst the council. But not just him. I don't believe we have his name, but the white cloak of House Draklin, even he's rowdy this episode because my father just got his head chopped off. Like, somebody has to pay. I can't stay over here and do nothing. And I felt bad for Rhaenyra. Rhaenys already said she's flailing, essentially. They're going to eat her alive. And now that I don't even have her strong presence here, I'm pretty much by myself. And I like not to jump too far ahead when she says, I don't want to stand alone, because she knows that essentially without Corlys, despite Jason Baylor being her staunch supporters, she will be alone without him. Because these niggas, yes, they bent the knee, but they're not advocating for her to actually rule, for her to do anything. They want you to be queen in name only. We do all the real shit, you know? So
they want to be Dick Cheney.
For sure.
George W., you president, but I'm really running this country.
For
That's
sure.
pretty much what they want
For
to do.
sure.
Yeah, Sir Alfred Broom, man, talking greasy, just real greasy. He had a line: the gentler sex doesn't know anything about the strategies or executions of battle. I love Rhaenyra's answer, my nigga.
It's been 80 years apiece.
You don't know shit neither. I've been in the same amount of battles you have, man. Stop playing with me. Like, stop doing
Period.
that. You don't know
Got
shit about
you.
none of this neither. You read them
For
in books.
sure. For
Um,
sure.
Too many voices at the table, Rachel.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it comes to. Too many chefs in the kitchen, too many voices in the table. Nobody is listening to the person they should be listening to, which is a queen. And she wants to take her dragon and ride out. And that's a common sentiment. It's been building up, but she's also reiterating multiple times this episode, like, this is my fight. Like, we lost our largest dragon. We lost Rhaenys. I think she was telling Jace, or maybe it was Masari. I forget who she was talking to. Like, so would you rather me just sit here and wait for our enemies to come? Like, all of us get killed, and then last resort. All right, cool. I'm gonna take my dragon, and we done by then. I've got a fight on my name, but that reminder, you're the queen. If something happened to you, this whole thing is for nothing. It's for naught. So
my son here.
yeah, but they ain't been the need of her son. They want
Sure.
Rhaenyra.
For sure.
So let's pivot real quick, Rachel. You've been on this early. You've been on this early, and I will tell you, I'm really warming up to it. I'm really seeing the beauty in it. I'm really seeing the sweetness in this. Jason Baylor. I'm really enjoying the Jason Baylor scenes.
Come on.
Really enjoying the Jason Baylor scenes.
Kissing cousins that work. Ain't no blood between them.
Feel me? Feel me? It works out. It works out. Yeah. Shout out to the bastards.
Yeah. She is not a bastard.
No, he is.
Oh, yeah. Don't do my girl.
Yeah, hell no. I would never do Baylor like that, man. Shout out to Baylor. That's my dog. But we've seen Jace continue to grow restless. He's been a prisoner of Luke's death, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Mom's not going to let you just go ahead willy-nilly and try to do your own thing in this war, because if I lose you, I might as well cancel the war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or that would be a for sure fire way for her to get on that dragon and say, you know what, I'm dying a dragon rider's death. Like, I'm taking whoever I can with me because y'all killed both my babies.
Yeah.
But he's growing restless, and he's being respectful, or as respectful as 16-year-old can be. But he's also like, man, I can do some shit too. Same way we were. You that age, you think you know everything. You don't know shit. But I got a little bit of knowledge in me. I've been around. Jace actually has paid attention to how things should go. He does study history. He's very knowledgeable.
He's
a very strong Jace episode. Yeah,
yes.
It's a very strong Jace episode. It made me. I stopped looking at him as a kid this episode. I'm like, you actually got some shit to contribute in a real way, not just an extra body around, but you actually can do some shit.
I've been saying that Jace is very much a product of Daemon. But he is very much like Rhaenyra at that age. Well studied around a dragon rider. I mean, she wasn't fighting with a sword, but he has, I would say both his parents, but maybe there's some Harmon Strong in there too. Break bones. So Jace do got that in him, but as much as we see that nurture, or not even nurture, because I don't see Daemon being a nurturer of anybody except maybe the last Viserys and the last Aegon the twins. I like Jace, but you can see the Daemon on him. But this episode, I saw a lot of the Rhaenyra in him.
Yeah, that's very well said. That's a great way of putting it. Remember, he initially wanted to go to Harrenhal. Like, my nigga, we sending these ravens. We ain't getting no answer back. You ain't giving us no updates. Now I got to pull up on you.
Yeah.
Now I got to pull up on you because you MIA. So what's going on? Obviously, Baylor knows her pops. Like, I don't think that's going to go how you want it to go, bro. Like,
for sure.
Don't just come up unannounced at Harrenhal or pulling up on Daemon demanding shit, because that's just not going to go the way you think. And then he has the idea. He wants to visit the phrase. Now, everybody, say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Fuck the phrase. We don't fuck with the phrase at all. If you watch Game of Thrones, you know Reigns of Castamere, the whole
Yeah,
nine. Fuck the
fuck yeah,
phrase.
for sure.
However, in this time period before, he knows the Starks, as we've already set up, are going to be crossing through the
Hmm.
twins into the Riverlands.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get that crossing. Let's see what we can do. Negotiation 101. I personally, Rachel, before I throw the ball in your court, I personally just like see something, the see something, do something mentality of Jace.
Hmm.
Like there's got to be something I can do to contribute to this whole battle. I think that was a chess move, him seeing the whole board and figuring out
Hmm.
what I can do to help. Obviously, he's promising things that he can't confirm,
Yeah.
but just the initiative, I appreciate it. What did you think about everything?
So initially, I did not like it. I was like, this nigga really think he Damon.
Yeah,
You acting just like your stepdaddy, doing things that you're not authorized to do, making promises that you don't even know if you can keep, doing the most. But to your point, I'm like, you know what? Jace, Jace's intentions, quote unquote, are pure. We know that he is really fighting not just for his mother, but for himself, because if she doesn't reign, then he doesn't either, which is different than what we know Damon to be doing, you know? But on my rewatch, I'm like, you know what? Shout out to Jace. And shout out to him maybe calling the phrase, not calling their bluff. I did not get the impression that he truly, truly gave them the Harrenhal because they have to bend the knee, you know? We don't know yet if they did, because only
right.
thing he said to Rhaenyra in their follow-up discussion was, you know, they want Harrenhal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, how come don't nobody know that Harrenhal is fucked up? But I'm assuming the phrase at this current time, have enough money, have the coin to fix Harrenhal if need be, if it's theirs to claim.
You know what that is, Rachel? That's good old gentrification. We gonna buy this shit while it's cheap and it's fucked up because
For
this
sure.
this area and this land is very useful,
It's
and
valuable. Yeah.
there will come a day when this shit popping again, and we gonna have it.
Yeah.
And we can either do what we want to, leave it as a bargaining tip, whatever the
Hmm.
case is.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to just go ahead and talk about that scene where he goes to see the phrase since we just mentioned it?
Yeah.
So let me make sure I get my. Oh yeah, all right. So just negotiation 101, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I appreciate a good negotiation. Once again, fuck the phrase, but they playing kind of coy as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
He's a kid to
we
them,
yeah,
despite.
you a kid. You can even tell because they mentioned what we fear is Vagar.
Hmm.
He mentioned like you fear Vagar. I got a dragon right over there. Like, what you trying to say? That is their way of saying you a little nigga to us.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
we're not. You're not the one we worried about.
Yeah.
However, they do acknowledge you do have a dragon.
Hmm.
So are you going to protect us if Vagar does come around? And I love how he put himself in there. And what I did not love is you get the protection of my uncle as well, because you're promising things and you're offering things that
Hmm.
you don't know what's going on in Harrenhal.
Yeah.
You can only hope and assume.
Hmm.
Now he did say I would have said the same thing. Damon will do whatever his queen requests of him or orders
Yeah.
him, whatever the case is.
Hmm.
So I get it, but that's one of those. If I'm Rhaenyra, you got a little bit too much dip on your chip.
For sure. For sure.
Like, don't speak on my behalf about things that I can't really like negotiate or promise. You don't know what my plans are.
Hmm.
If Damon did get Harrenhal, you don't know what I wanted to do with it, the whole nine. But obviously, we'll negotiate for you to take it over after this war is over. And I love how he said, you know, for Harrenhal, you ain't just like she needs more than a crossing. She needs you to bend that knee.
I need bent
I need
knees.
bent knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to I need bent knees too.
To this weekend.
um,
Uh,
but yeah, shout out to Jace. Shout out to Jace. Where you want to go next, Rachel?
we've talked about Harrenhal and Neff, so I guess let's go there. We are still in fucking Harrenhal. I'm so sick of Damon and Harrenhal. I don't know what to do. At this point, not just not just because he's claimed Harrenhal for himself, not for Rhaenyra, for himself. I think that he likes the visions and the nightmares. Something about this you're getting off on, because I don't know why after the first night where you seen this shit was dilapidated that you did not go home. Go make up with your wife, because this is some bullshit. Um, this episode specifically in Harrenhal maybe more than blood and cheese is evident to me as to why Viserys didn't trust Daemon and why he could not name him heir. Daemon don't have no fucking sense. He and his lack of restraint is also the cause of much more plight. And again, now this is the second time your acts have boomeranged back on you and caused, I don't want to say a fall, and caused a lapse in the support of Rhaenyra. When the River Lord said, we'll talk about it, we won't raise our flag for a tyrant. They don't know shit about Aemon One Eye. But if this is what you're doing, Daemon, in the name of the queen, quote unquote, I'm not fucking with you neither. And we gonna fight. You know the Brackens and the Blackwoods, them Riverlands folks don't have no hole in them on either side.
Facts.
So
Facts.
if we gotta fight for our shit in the seventh, and the gods old and the new are protecting us despite y'all and y'all dragons, we've been at this war shit for centuries with each other. You think it can't get silly for you? It's up for whoever. We was ready to die because
we pulled up on you. We pulled up on you in the middle of the night.
You had
like a motherfucker.
The second biggest dragon now that Meleese is gone. And then Bracken said, okay, we ready to die. Fuck it. You were not prepared for their level of not give a fuckness. What you gonna do with these people?
All right. There's a lot to discuss.
There's a lot to unpack.
That was very, very well said by you. It's funny because when you said, I never thought about it like that. When you said, I think Daemon is starting to like these visions and these dreams. He must like being in Harrenhal.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because it always goes against my theory. So T.I., I know you're not a rap girl, Rachel, but T.I. is like he was one of my favorite rappers. Like there's a run of T.I.'s music that I just really enjoy, still listen to. But if those remember T.I. in that early 2000s phase, maybe from 03 to 07 or so, 06.
Wrapped in. Okay.
Yeah, T.I., my whole point is T.I. was constantly going to jail. Constantly caught a case and was constantly going to jail. If you know, you know. If you remember, you remember. Urban Legend, right before that came out, he went to jail. Right after he dropped that, right after he came out of jail. Remember, he got the famous BET Awards guns case. He had to go to jail for paper trail. And I remember telling myself at that time, Rachel, like, oh, this nigga likes jail.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I can be a millionaire and be at this height, the height of my fame, and want to go to jail. You gotta like this shit. Like, you have to like this shit to want to keep going. We did The Town on The Culture Garden.
Yes.
We discussed The Town, and there's a quote in The Town from Jim where he says, you know what the funniest thing is about prison? People pretending that they want to get out. In other words, you have a choice to keep making the decisions and staying where you want to stay in life. And what you said just unlocked that for me, Rachel, because Daemon absolutely has to want to be there.
Yeah.
Because we've seen enough as viewers that would have us be like, hell no, I'm out. It's like the Casper house. If y'all remember the movie Casper, when they were trying to get them ghosts out that house and everybody kept coming, it's like, nah, fuck that, I'm out. Y'all got it. Like, I don't know what y'all trying to do. That's how it is. He loves it.
He loves it. Let me ask you, What do you think of Sir Strong? I think he's sick of Damon's shit. He wants him out of there.
He definitely wants Damon gone, but Sir Strong pussy. So what he gonna do? What he gonna say?
Nothing, but he's starting to get a little bit more passive aggressive towards Damon.
He definitely is. I think it's because he's having a front row seat to Damon and these hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
So he's seen Damon in these meetings, like
Yeah.
just zone the fuck out. And I think he's starting to think, like, hold on, Brian ain't even all the way here. Like, he's not even here. Or Sir Simon Strong knows, like, I know this place is fucked up, and I know he's not going to be the Damon he would be outside of here in
For
these walls.
sure. For
So I think
sure.
he knows I can say this slick shit, and he probably won't even pick up on the fact that I'm saying it or how I'm saying it.
Yeah. Well, he caught that king consort shit.
Now
He
that
definitely caught
yeah,
that.
which actually surprised me a little bit, Rachel, because when we first met Sir Simon Strong, remember, I don't want nothing to do with this politics shit. I'm cool. Whatever you want, you got it. I'm claiming Harry Hall. Apparently so. Like, you got it, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, for somebody who doesn't really care, he did care about the titles and the order of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I think that's a clear indication to people.
Everybody cares.
Everybody cares, and you have a duty. You talked about the River Lords, Rachel. The reason they were so upset is because, yeah, we don't fuck with them, but there's a certain way you do things. Like,
Yep.
my name is my name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's certain honor that we carry. Yeah, we might be beefing for centuries, but we know, at least, once again, to quote The Wire, we know what a Sunday truce is.
That
We ain't
part.
gonna
We know
violate that.
pillaging. It's up for the men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain lines you don't cross. Like, every culture, everybody has organized crime, whatever. Like, dudes in the mob, they don't believe in that women and children shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
For sure.
We talked about The Wire, the drug game, Sunday truce. Like, there's certain things you don't cross, and bro, you cross every single imaginable line, committing war crimes against these people in the name of trying to get them to your army.
Yep. Yep. And this is the thing. And I liked Sir or Lord Blackwood before, but now I'm like, this what you want? What's going on? And again, I said it when we started the Harrenhal conversation. This is the same thing with Blood and Cheese. You told Sir Blackwood, give him your worst. It's certain shit I can't do. I can't get my hands dirty. So here you go again with your bad advice, but perpetuating and instigating the bullshit, and it's going left. You think that this is going to make me want to fight for you? What did you think chopping this baby in the arms of his mother's head off, giving the order to that? So I like that the people know that that was Damon's call and not Rhaenyra. I like that. I don't know if that's from Rhaenyra and Allison's conversation that the whispers are about, or if people know Rhaenyra crazy, but she ain't that fucking crazy. It's only one motherfucker who do shit like that, and that's Damon.
I think the River Lords as a whole are just a bunch of G's.
Yeah.
And they smarter than you can't sell them bullshit. They know the prices. And as soon as I saw that headline, I knew exactly what time it was, and I know which one. If I had to take a bet between which one of these called that order, I know which one did it.
I know who did it.
And they just go about it a certain way. Like you said, that was the most gangster shit. I know we talk about the dragons and the battles, but that was some gangster shit in the middle of the night in the rain, bro. Wake your ass up. Wake your ass up, my nigga. Nah, we ain't doing this. Like, you over here in our land. This is what we do. Like, we protect it. Like, this is sacred ground that you're on. Like, you're not just about to come over here and disrespect it. I don't care what we got going over here. That's none of your business. Don't bust your head in and try to use the hatred to start getting what you want and for us to fly your flag. We honor, duty, all of that. Why would we want to fly your flag if this is how you operate?
This is how you operate. Yep.
We ain't gonna do none of this.
Banner for a tyrant. I like that. Bars.
Oh, I like the energy. And to go to that scene as well, as they mentioned, like the man who like ordered the head of the baby be sliced off while they're in their mother's arm. Bring me the man who says this, that man is half the kingdom, my
Everybody.
nigga. Everybody's saying it. Like, I don't know if you just been stuck in Harrenhal on your magic, uh, tea and all that shit, but
Mhm.
everybody know you did this. So it ain't just one person. You're gonna spend all day killing.
I need to know why ain't nobody else affected by Harrenhal. Is it just because y'all already live there? They can't haunt you no more. Like, goddamn, or what? I know in the book it says, and so this is TV canon. In the book, Damon is not affected by Harrenhal. Harrenhal is haunted in the book, but Damon isn't affected by it. So I'm interested to see, I guess, further what happens, even though I'm sick of him being there. But also, how come ain't nobody else having no visions? Ain't nobody else fucked up in this castle? What's going on?
That is a little bit odd. I'm taking it under the assumption that we're specifically using Damon as an avatar for Harrenhal.
Hmm.
And if
Okay,
you think about it, this whole season, since we've been in Harrenhal, it's all been from Damon's point of view.
for
We
sure.
haven't had a scene in Harrenhal without Damon in it. So we haven't had like a Sir Simon Strong scene by himself, or
Yeah.
him and Alice Rivers talking on the side. So I think we're supposed to be feeling that effect of Damon, if I
Okay.
had to take a guess of it. But here, I have another question. This is outside of Harrenhal. You
Hmm.
brought up Damon and his dragon
Hmm.
and pulling up on the Brackens. We need an army. Bracken said, "Fuck you, fuck
Yeah.
your dragon, die
Hmm.
by fire, nigga. I'll gladly be burned by that fire before I bend the knee to y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm not bending the knee in front of no Blackwood. Fuck him."
Yeah. Yeah.
Damon decides not to burn them because he
Hmm.
needs an army. Rachel,
Hmm.
that
Now you
seemed
show
like a
me you
very
busy.
dumb play to me.
Hmm.
Like, I don't understand what Damon. He mentioned how they would rather die by fire than succumb. Those are the type of men I need for my army. But the issue I had with it is they don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the war crimes and things like that, but why would you think this is a good idea? If they're not scared of this dragon, why do you think they would ever fight for you? I just didn't get it. I didn't understand. I know eventually it worked. It just seemed like an off idea, and I don't know what you thought about it.
A couple things. Do they not fuck with Damon, or do they not fuck with Rhaenyra?
I think
That's
they don't fuck with the Blackwoods. They don't fuck with whoever the Blackwoods fucking with.
right. But even before that, think back to Burning Hill, Burning Mill. Um, that Bracken was like, he called Rhaenyra a traitor. You know what I'm saying? So they already have that in mind. I think that they might possibly take the Blackwoods out, if you can, would have maybe fucked with Damon. So I wondered, I thought maybe it may be a little patriarchal situation there too. Reinserting the Blackwoods, yeah, we ain't fucking with whoever y'all fuck with. Howsoever, they all are under the rule of the king. The only people who the conqueror didn't conquer was Dorne. So we all were under Viserys's watch, under Viserys's care. So we've ruled under the same people before. So we can do that despite being at war with each other.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
What
We
did you
gotta go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to ask, because we didn't talk about Alice and Damon, the conversation
Mm-hmm.
they had, essentially foreshadowing what the River Lords came in to the castle at night to say. Clearly, Alice is the one fucking with Damon.
Yeah,
What did you think of the look Lord Strong, yes, Sir Simon Strong gave her?
I didn't know what to take of it. I thought about what you mentioned earlier. Why is Damon the only one affected by this?
Hmm.
Kind of gave me an insight. Like, Sir Simon Strong knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I think I alluded to that earlier when I said he probably is getting that passive aggressive attitude with Damon because he knows, bro, you fucked. Alice got you fucked up.
Yep.
So you're
Yep.
not even in your right state of mind to do anything. You still seeing your wife,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, or your wife who decided to unalive herself than to be with you.
Shout out to the
I
ladies
know you.
who checked on my kids. Shout out to Black women.
Yeah, you taking care of our girls, like looking after our girls. Yeah, it's one of the biggest things that I got from that scene. We talked about the patriarchy. We talked about the women getting dogged this episode. She mentioned, Alice said, and once again, in the name of power, it's the weak and the women who must endure. Once again, making sure they keep strong with that theme. Foreshadowing, once again, you should pray you never meet Aemond. Well, not only does she meet Aemond, as we mentioned before, Aemond marries her. So you have that.
I didn't know that they married. I just thought he was fucking on her. Okay.
Yeah. They ended up getting married, if I'm not mistaken. Please, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I'm 90% sure that they're married. They were definitely involved for sure.
Yeah.
I like Alice's mind games the same way I like Sir Larys.
Okay.
Or Lord Larys. I'm sure all of this is approved by the Queen, right? Bruh. All these whispers that I'm hearing through the wind, like I'm sure the Queen is approving these, right? Daemon said, "Nah, nigga, I'm the one. She can join me and she can rule side by side with me." This episode was the reveal of what Daemon finally said the quiet part out loud.
For sure.
You know what? Yeah, I got into it with my wife. Yeah, I needed to get to Harrenhal to blow some steam off and really try to take some control. But I think I've been lying to myself. I knew this whole time I wanted this shit for myself, and now I'm bold enough to say it. That's my throne. I'm the rightful heir. Nobody's ever going to respect her. She should be gracious enough that I'm allowing her to rule by my side, king and queen. But at the end of the day, I'm the one.
I'll beat Daemon ass. That was really fucked up to me, even though we've known this whole time that Daemon was scheming and to take his own or to make his own claim. Again, I think I said it last week or the week before. It was his reason too for marrying Rhaenyra. You know, she said our marriage will make our claim or will make my claim more legitimate or harder to discredit. But he did that for the same reason. And maybe that wasn't clear to me then, but it's clear to me now. Daemon, and I've already said it, this is why Viserys couldn't trust you. You raised an army against your brother, essentially. And now here you are trying to raise this army on the surface for your wife, but really it's against her. Because you want her to bend the knee to you, to be the king. You are the king consort. Viserys did not name you heir. You have to get over it.
Gotta get over it.
I did not. You didn't have an age for Daemon, did you? Did you say his age?
I did not say his age, but I can get that for you in a second. Daemon. Okay.
I just thought about it.
Daemon Targaryen is 48 years old.
Okay, he's 48. Rhaenyra is 32. Jace is 16. So I just 16. Was thinking about the age gap. So literally as soon as Rhaenyra and Laenor married, Kristen was replaced by Harmon Strong, and they got into it early because Jason's half her age. I didn't realize that. I was trying to put the ages together, but I didn't know how old everybody was. But I'm salty at Daemon because I was secretly rooting for him, but now I can't fuck with you. In the words of the great prophet, DMX, used to be my dog, you was in my left titty. Scream, ride or die, I thought you would die with me. Found out you was a bitch, you can't even side with me. Now it's a war, you ain't on the side with me. Come on, husband. Come on, husband. We also saw in that vision, Alice, or in that discussion, Alice goes, it's a shame you didn't meet your mother. I did realize, or I did learn that Alice was Alyssa Targaryen. Daemon was 3 when she died. You really ain't know your mama.
Nope.
Did I need this Oedipus complex as scene? Absolutely not. But now I know that where your issues with women stem because you didn't have a mother. Damn, homie. I didn't need none of that.
I
But
ain't need none of that.
it has to it has to quote unquote mean something. I hope
It's
going
his
forward.
lack of. It's his lack of like. It's his need to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that he thought was his been passed over.
Yeah.
Um, that's why that weird ass scene. First of all, before I say that, your bars are why they say Jadakiss can raise a kid with just his lyrics alone, because that's exactly how what's going on in this situation.
For sure.
You were gonna say something before I get into what I was gonna say.
I initially, and I tweeted it too, I was like, is that Emma? I thought that was Viserys's wife he was envisioning because he wanted to be Viserys, and I want everything that you have, the kingdom, your daughter, your wife at this point. But to learn that that was his fucking mother, I was flabbergasted. And I know that obviously incest, the Targaryens are no stranger to incest, but a mother and son is a little bit much
It's a
now.
lot, man.
Oedipus
That's a
Rex.
lot, man. It's a weird ass dream. Damon having weird dreams. Why is he around?
Freaky ass nigga need to stay his ass inside.
Freaky ass nigga. That's what he's doing right in
He
Harrenhal.
need
That's
to go
all
home.
you stay in Harrenhal, all these freaky ass dreams coming to you. But I was just gonna say that needs to be wanted. That's why he has visions of his mom saying, "If only you were born first."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Viserys knew you were the one. Like he knew you were the one that was supposed to be in that seat. Whatever. That's just Damon in his own head. Now that
Yeah.
does lead to the scene you've already touched on, but I
Mm-hmm.
did find it very interesting. We know already that Larys took all the bread with him. I've
Yes.
transferred all my bread to King's Landing, so I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what y'all got to do. To quote Offset, the rapper, these niggas broke because there is no money in Harrenhal, just enough to keep us fed and keep
Yeah.
us warm. And we're barely doing that. You can see they're not eating the best of food there at Harrenhal. This is such an important scene, even though we already touched on the end result. Damon says, Sir Simon Strong said, we was hoping the Queen could, shoot us a little bread, help us out, pay some of these bills. Nah, I'm running Harrenhal.
Crazy.
Like, I'll guarantee the payment.
Mm-hmm.
You should address me as my king. Because he said, all right, thank you, your grace. You should address me as your king, as my king, but you're the prince. What would you call the husband of a queen? The king.
Consort.
Consort. Do that part in there, right? That last part seems unnecessary, don't you think? And before he even had a chance to get a response, I'm walking away because I'm letting you know that is how I expect to be referred to this point forward. And that was us as viewers realizing, like, oh shit, Damon really took it there. Damn.
He really took it there. He meant that shit.
What does that look like? What does that look like, Rachel? Like, what's gonna have to happen in your just opinion? What's gonna have to happen for Damon to team back up with Rhaenyra and help her cause, or is this something that is this just now a new storyline in House of the Dragon? Is Damon just on his own and he's like, are we looking at three? Are we looking at the blacks, the greens, and the Damons? Like, what's that look like?
The Reds.
The Reds, yeah.
Okay, great question. I don't know. I want to say that Damon, once Alfred comes, I want to say that he's able to shake Damon out of his dazed and confusion. However, I don't know. I do believe that Damon will fight for Rhaenyra and then betray her. He's betraying her now, but he'll come back and fight and then pull the okie doke like, well, actually, now that they're out of the way, I got something for your ass too. We can either do it this way or it's back to these dragons dancing.
Yeah, that's the only way I can look at it. That's the only way I can look at it. But that is what I've been trying to think of what has to happen in order for them to be aligned, and I just don't see the path.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a few more things to talk about. I think that's all the Damon stuff actually for this episode, unless technically the last piece of Damon business we can talk about right now, Rachel. Sir Alfred has a special mission from his queen.
Yes.
What you think about this scene from Rhaenyra?
You want that nigga out of her hair.
Fuck up out of here, bro. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yep. He's the most vocal with all the bullshit. Let me go sit you down. Don't let my quietness will be their downfall or whatever she said last week.
Yep, they're undoing.
They're undoing. Okay, go take your ass to hearing hall. Tell me what's going on, because I need a moment without you, because I can probably assage the rest of these niggas. Y'all, I don't know. I can't. Not right now. Yes, you're loyal to me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. However, you went away. I can't have too many seeds of discord, and you are the primary sower. No, gotta go.
Loved it. It was strategic. It was well thought out. Like I said, I actually can use you to let me know give me a report, and you up out of here. He knew what time it was. Are you removing me from council? Nope. Listen, while you do get on my nerves, while you do have a smart ass mouth, while you love to play in my face, and as much as I would love someone to just kind of ride for their queen a little bit more, no, I'm not removing you from council. Like, this is a special assignment just for you, buddy.
Yep.
You the man for the job.
You got
You're the man for the job. I'm gonna send a couple of my best people to look after you. I just need you to give me a report. And it was more than just play. Like, we knew what Rhaenyra was doing. But we also knew this was a real mission. Like, I really want you to go.
Yeah.
And you can tell that Sir Alfred really, it looked like, I don't know if I believe him, looked like he took heed to what she was saying. You and your house served me and my pops well. Right? I know you would never accept the High Tower claim. We need the Riverlands. I'm tired of sending ravens. Go ahead and check up on this, my guy. Like, give me a report. Report back in 60 days, 8 fortnights, however they word that shit.
However long, because he ain't got no dragon to fly over there.
You footing it, my nigga. I need you gone for a minute. This whole place gonna be redecorated by the time you get back.
For sure.
We might have dragon riders and all types of new shit before you get back. But one thing that was very telling, reason with Damon and figure out his intentions. That look like intentions. Like, what you think Damon got planned? Like, he said he wouldn't dare, and she said, "Have you known Damon to lack in daring?"
She knows her uncle husband.
Do you have any messages, Rachel?
Huh?
I said, do you have any messages? That's what he asked.
That's what he asked.
Tell him I would much like to finish our last conversation.
That's it. Bring your ass home so we can finish this shit. Quit fucking playing with me.
Interesting shit, man.
She knows. She knows him. She brought up the fact that he raised up that army against her father. If you do that to your brother, what the fuck you gonna do to me? Rhaenyra is not low. And I said it previously, she is a seer like Helena. She probably has seen some shit that we are not privy to at this current juncture. She knows why the cage bird sings.
Facts. Where you want to go, Rachel?
In regards to Damon, we talked about him seeing another vision of Lena, and she says, have you checked on the girls? It's a terrible war going on. I want to bounce to Rhaenyra and Baela's conversation, just the first part, while they are talking about Rhaenys. I love Rhaenyra's relationship with Baela and Rhaena. She has truly taken on like the stepmother role.
She the mother that stepped up.
Definitely the mother that stepped up. I know that there was discussion previously on her maybe not really dealing with them, but no, she genuinely loves her or loves them both. We got to get Raina up out of that other castle though. Get her away from that auntie. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But while Bayla and Rhaenyra are talking about Rhaenys, I loved that Rhaenyra says, his own mother's dragon in regards to Meleese, Alyssa, his mother, who we saw earlier in the episode. His own mother's dragon would have nothing to do with them. We talked about the personification of these dragons, but they are kin and this, that, and the third to these Targaryens. And I think that they are very much like dogs, quote unquote, where it's a character thing. I know it's something that's not quite right about you. So I'm not fucking with you. Yeah, you might have your own dog. You might have some shit that you fuck with. But as far the rest of us, we know that something in the water ain't clean when it comes to you. And so I just think about Meleese in regards to Rhaenys, how maybe they were very much similar.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe your rider is kind of like who you are, Raina or Lena, she was Vagar's rider after Alyssa. No, after whoever, Visenya maybe.
Visenya.
After
Visenya.
Visenya. But I'm curious, are you like her? You know what I'm saying? Were you like her? She was a warrior and a dragon rider. You had the baddest in the land. We saw how Aemon last season again usurped Vagar
Vagar.
from Rhaena, but we learned that Rhaenys basically usurped Meleese in the dragon pit. She went and did that by herself. There was no special ceremony. She went and pretty much sounds like did the same thing that Aemon did in regards to Vagar. So that was a very interesting touch to me. And again, I just really, really like the relationship that Bayla specifically and Rhaenyra have. What were you gonna say?
I don't. Just to what you were saying, I just think that you hit everything. I enjoyed that scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
The one part I really did enjoy was her, when Rhaenyra pretty much said she didn't always care for me, but I'm
Yeah.
grateful for what she gave me in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just acknowledging like, yeah, it wasn't always the smoothest, but at the end of the day, she was a real one.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? And then obviously that realization that she doesn't want to stand alone. At the end of that scene, we see her give the hand of the queen pin to Bayla,
Bayla thought it was
asking her
going
to
to
give it. All right, asked her to give it to her grandsire. So I
her.
guess that would be a perfect transition to what might be my favorite scene of the episode, Rachel.
Okay.
Bayla and Lord Corlys.
Yeah.
Bayla left. I mean, she already was probably nearing a 100%
Mm-hmm.
rating. Shit, I can't talk. Um, but after this scene, it was through the roof for me. Like
For
she's
sure.
the one that because Lord Court, like, listen,
Corliss been
once
on my
again,
list.
the patriarchy. It's hard to tell these old school stubborn men
Mm-hmm.
who have
Rich
had their accomplishments in life. Yeah, rich men who have had their accomplishments. It's hard to tell them anything,
yeah.
no matter who you are. For your granddaughter to sit there and tell you your place and pretty much saying like I'm more game for this than you are. Like, let me remind you of a few things. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, we grieving. Like Lord Corliss has been grieving all episode, most of it off screen. Bayla's grieving as well. Remember, she was sad when she was talking to Rhaenyra, like
Yeah.
reminiscing about Rhaenys, but she's talking to her Lord Corliss, her grandsire, saying, "I wish I could have seen this place in its heyday. Heard about all the things that you had. I can just imagine all the lords and ladies and everybody who came to this castle for feast. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if they know it was all for her. Like,
Yeah.
I know you loved her. Like, I get it. We all hurting. Um, but listen, Rhaenyra, she wants you to be hand." And Lord Corlys scoffed at it. real quick, what do you think about his initial response? We talked last week about wanting to know what his response to Rhaenys' death was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get him scoffing at the hand. What was your first initial thought on that?
I knew he would initially, but I also, him being power hungry has not changed because all these people died.
He scoffs at it, asks if she's had enough. Like, damn, even the murder, even the death of my wife won't please her.
Yeah.
Like at this point. And Baylor's the one that pretty much says, listen, man, Rhaenys, and this is an interesting thing. It's very timely with this episode because I was listening to someone talk about this. Just they were talking about grief. You know, they had lost their father, and they were just talking about, I had to start looking at it as I didn't just lose my father. Like that was a person, an individual who played many roles to many different people. He was much more than just my father.
Yeah.
And Baylor kind of told Corlys the same thing. Like she was more than just your wife. That's a Targaryen princess.
Yeah.
The queen that never was. Like, bruh, it's bigger than you.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Pick your tears up, pick your head up, put those shoulders back, and let's get back to it. Because at the end of the day, she died the way that she wanted to die. She went out as a dragon rider. You know, the way my mom died, the way that I wish to die. Yeah,
chose to die.
Yeah. Chose to die the way I wish to die. When my day comes, I want to go out as a dragon rider as well. Like she's still inside of me. We know we say that all the time. Like, you know, the ones who have passed on, they still live on inside of us. Right? Yeah. It's our responsibility to keep their legacy alive, their voice alive, their image alive. And I'm going to see it through that Rhaenyra is on the throne because that's exactly what Rhaenys would want. And I just think that was everything Corlys needed to hear. I would have been like, you know what, damn. You're right. Who was a 16-year-old spitting game like this? And it was enough for Lord Corlys to be like, hey, I want to make you my heir. And she hit him with the game too. Like I am blood and fire. Driftmark must pass the salt and sea.
I loved that.
Incredible scene.
Maybe the bar of the episode. It's the first time Corlys really sees Baela. She's been a child. Clearly, they weren't spending a lot of time in Driftmark prior to the passing of their mother and Viserys and all of that. So we don't have a great relationship. And you always off to sea. We had Rhaenys, grandmother, whatever. We know that she loved us, but it's different with you. Not just because you're a man and this and the third, but it's just the relationship is different. The way that he scoffed at Rhaena being named heir versus proudly looking at Baela like, hey, you the one. But again, we learned a little bit more about Rhaena in this episode. We learned that they did try to get my girl a dragon and she almost lost her life. Rhaenyra was like, look, I can't let her go out like that. Again, I wouldn't even want her to try, even though we gave her an egg. She got to get one of them while they're young. She can't get no full-grown dragon, you know? Do you want to talk about Rhaena briefly over at Lady Jane's house?
Exactly where I was going to go, because we have 3 more scenes. We have that, and then we have Rhaenyra and Mysaria, and then we have when Jace finally comes home.
Yeah.
If I'm missing anything, you can let me know. But we can definitely talk about Rhaena.
Rhaena is at Lady Jane's house, the cousin. And Jane is basically like, bitch, these little baby dragons, this is not what I asked for. I must don't want to be protected. Like, what's going on? I saw commentary, again, book canon versus TV, that they got along well in the book. However, I think I like it a little better that there's going to be a little tension here. Because from what we're getting of Rhaena, not that I want her not to be a sweet girl, but I want that blood of the dragon to come out of her.
It's real.
So maybe this is the catalyst to get her over her fear, dare I say, of the dragons. This is also how Rhaena finds out that Rhaenys passed. This callous ass, oh, sorry to hear about your grandmother. Bitch, excuse me?
Right. I peeped that too.
What is happening here? But she really relaxes and says, you know what, this would be your room. I'm very curious as to what we do with that because, like I just said, I think it's going to be the catalyst to get Raina over her fear. Maybe we see Raina also in battle because who knows how long this war is going to go on. But I hate this cousin. I don't know
Yeah.
if she's going to be a good villain or somebody I need to Dracarys.
I love everything you just said, Rachel, in regards to cousin Jane. I appreciate the fact that they left her character a little sibylline. I like the fact that she does have some mystery. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out
Mm-hmm.
with her and Raina. Um, you can see Raina even bucking up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's more so like a deal is a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're gonna take these dragons, and I wanted dragons. Y'all playing in my face because you knew what type of dragons I wanted. I wanted
Yeah.
the big ones, not the little ones. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, I did bring dragons and I brought eggs. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to take what you get. I use the analogy of, when you have that drunk night and you want some food. At the end of the night, man, it really don't matter what I get. Yeah, I wanted a slice of pepperoni, but if all you got is cheese, I'll eat the cheese because I need
Right.
it. She needs some dragons. She's gonna go ahead and take them, and that's just kind
But
of what it is.
also, not to cut you off, you want a grown dragon, but you ain't been no dragon rider. You need to be
Thank you, Rachel.
grateful for these little dragons so that you can.
Rachel,
It's like getting a Rottweiler or a big ass, I don't know, bully. Shout out to whoever got them um, off the back and not no puppy. Like, why would I get this monstrosity of an animal with no nothing? So she's a cousin on somebody's side, maybe a Baratheon side. I don't know.
remember,
But you
Littlefinger married into that family. Remember?
right. But I don't know if you got dragon blood. I don't know how you finagle into this, cuz. So I don't even know how these little niggas are gonna react to you. And you want big dog? Not too much.
All these guns,
Not too much blood.
all these guns, you ain't gonna shoot nothing.
That's it.
Like, what are
That's
you
it.
gonna do with this if you don't have anybody to ride this dragon? That was one of the first things I thought too, Rachel. Like,
Mhm.
what? Like, you still need me and us and my blood and my bloodline to even do anything with these dragons,
Do you speak Valerian?
right?
Because that's what they understand.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of English, from my understanding.
Right. High Valerian. I don't even know if it's high, but either way,
Yeah,
you need
come
to
on,
figure it
man.
out.
Come
Either
on.
way, that is going to be a great story to keep an eye on. What's
For
going on
sure.
at the Erie? And if Raina can actually remind Lady Erin of her promise that she made to her queen and her
Mhm.
cousin. So we'll figure that out. A couple more scenes before we get out of here. Rachel,
Yeah.
at this point of the story, Massaria is the most trusted advisor of Queen Rhaenyra.
Crazy.
Crazy how you can move on up in this world.
Yeah. She
Hey,
just like Kristen Cole.
hey, keep your mouth shut, stay low. Let everything else come to you. Massaria knows the game. She knows how this works. Rhaenyra is, if nothing more, even if it's not counsel, Rhaenyra needs someone to vent to.
Yeah.
That's not a child, so
Hmm.
not Jace, Baylor, or Raina. Obviously, Raina's gone, but an adult that I can actually just kind of voice my frustration with. I'm at my wits' end. We see the
Hmm.
woman coming in trying to give her meal. I don't want, not now. Like, get out of here with this. Like, I'm stressed. Like, I'm going through it. And Massaria, she says, or Queen Rhaenyra says, they're talking around me and not to me, right?
Hmm.
And for lack of better terms, they're treating her like Aegon. Right? You just
Which
in a
is
room with the title.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
insane, right? When you make that kind of comparison, but both of their councils are treating them the same. You just like the head. Like, you're not really the one calling the shots.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Rhaenyra understands, but she doesn't like it. Like, there was a moment of humanity and self-awareness where she knew,
Hmm.
like, if I was a boy, I would have been learning how to actually fight. But instead, I was holding my father's cup. I
That
was in
part.
my studies. I kind of like went that route. So I'm knowledgeable and I know what's going on, but I don't really know what it's like to be in battle and what
Mm-hmm.
the right move should be. I can just take a guess and take it from there. For far too long, I looked to Damon for strength. Basaria steps in and pretty much says, listen, your enemies are fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
That dragon head, the whole town is talking about that's a bad omen. We not fucking with them. We hungry. They done locked us in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we get the right kind of tool and the right messaging, we can easily just try to overtake this thing and say we're
Yeah.
gonna pledge Queen Rhaenyra. Obviously, this all came from Asaria. They're a forgotten people. What you cannot do, let others do for you. There's more than one way to fight a war. What do you think the ultimate game plan is? And what is Masaria trying to pull off? We talked earlier in this episode about Rhaenyra's helper, and I don't even know if we got a name from her, but her going to
Alinda.
King's Landing and sneaking in. What is it?
Alinda.
Alinda. So Alinda goes. What is the ultimate plan here? What's going on? What's going to happen? What am I missing?
So this is what I am unsure of. So again, we've already noted that it's the aide who was raped in the castle and at whose ass was smacked at the brothel/bar. My only thought would be is that we're going to, I guess, get the small folk to turn against the Greens, period. To your point, they're already disgruntled and hungry. And maybe we're letting the small folk be our army. They're already there. There's only so much they can do. Vhagar is old. She can't get, I mean, she could get everybody. We've seen what Daenerys did. But I don't know. Or sending Alinda was just the message of finding the dragon seed. Oh no, we don't talk about the dragon seeds yet. When she sent her out there, I don't know. I don't know what that girl was over there doing.
I don't know either, but it does give it does leave some allure for next
Yeah.
episode because we know some stuff is ending, and this takes us into our final scene. We
Mm-hmm.
know some shit is gonna pop off because our final scene is Jace returning, and he pulls up on Rhaenyra,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like this scene and enjoy it because there's a smirk on Jace's face when she asks, "How was the twins?"
The twins. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And he kind of has this look on his face like, yeah, I did that shit. And you acknowledging it, which is
Yeah.
really what he wants. Some acknowledgement that I'm a part of this war and I am the heir to your throne.
Mm-hmm.
So I have just as much stake in this. You said this earlier, Rachel, so I'm not saying it for the first time, but I have just as much stake in this as you do.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just your future. This is my future as well. So I want to see it seen through. What do you think of the conversation? Well, she told Jace that she's proud of him.
Yeah. And
what do you think about that? Just mother, son, allies. We're on the same team for the same goal. What do you just think of that whole moment?
I loved it. And I thought about their ages now that we've got them again. Yes, you're the mother, but we're not that far apart in our age. We're closer in age than me and Damon are. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it was interesting to me. But I really liked it. And it gave us another perspective or another view of their relationship because he is her firstborn and they're not far in age. And so they are so close. And I can say to you the shit I can't even really say to Baela.
Yeah.
You are my trusted confidant at this point, especially with Rhaenys being gone. I like that we got to see to hear Rhaenyra's frustration with the way everything is going on and being expected to sit and be a sitting duck essentially for this war raging in her name. Like, you mad you can't do nothing? Me too. I'm stuck. I'm even more stuck than you are because even still, to your point, even earlier, we put a sword in your hand as a baby. So you can't just rely on your dragons. You can rely on your hand-to-hand combat skills. All I have is my dragon. I was no good when Eric and Arik were fighting. It was
Right.
nothing I could do. I couldn't even tell them niggas apart. I'm
Yeah.
frustrated by all of this too. For my birthright, I got to do all of this for some shit that's mine. You
Yeah.
crazy? So I just liked it. I like the look that we got into their lives and the rawness of the conversation. I don't want to say the first time, but one of the few times we've seen Rhaenyra be raw. The most vocal we've seen her probably since she and Damon's argument, you know? So I
Yeah.
like that we got that from her. And Jace being receptive to it. And we've already discussed it, but we've learned that he is a strategist. He's learned some things from Break Bones and
That's
his
real.
brother. Mm-hmm.
That's real. And as we mentioned, obviously, what if we look outside of those who's ruled and look through these archives and see who has our blood that might be able to ride one of these dragons?
Yeah.
That's all going to be coming next week. Very interesting conversation, though, when we see as Jace walks in, she's reading about the senior.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment where Jace says, what was it exactly? He said, I hope you don't look to follow her or look to her for example.
Yeah.
Listen, Visenya's story is too complex to talk about right now. If you want to do a Google search on Visenya and who she was, I think it's very interesting and what she's
Mm-hmm.
responsible for. Like Visenya is responsible for the creation of the Kingsguard.
Oh,
So she was much more. Visenya was about action.
okay.
She wasn't
She
the
was the
Allison
first
type.
person who swung whatever sword.
Yeah, first rider of Vagar. First person to swing was Kings. What was it? I can't remember the name of it. Either
Mm-hmm.
way, when there was a war going on with the Dornish, she started wearing chainmail. And for those who don't know what chainmail is, think about those medieval outfits made of chain,
Yeah.
obviously to protect you from being stabbed and things like that. She
Mm-hmm.
was married to Aegon, to King Aegon, when this happened. Aegon said, man, I'm not wearing that shit. I got men to protect me. Visenya pulled out a blade. She pulled out
Mm-hmm.
her knife on him and cut his cheek and said, your men are slow and lazy. Like,
Ooh,
nigga, this is an example right now that you
yeah.
ain't that.
You ain't
And because
untouchable.
of that, the Kingsguard started. She picked the first members of the Kingsguard,
Oh
all of
wow.
that. There's more to her story, though. It gets a little loopy and a little wacky when we talk about, I think, Maegor,
Okay.
one of her sons. It's a lot going on. But if you ever want to look up an interesting character, that's why in the pilot episode, I believe, when Rhaenyra, when her mom is pregnant, or
Mm-hmm.
Viserys' wife is pregnant, and they about to have a kid, Rhaenyra said, I want to name her, like, are we going to name her Visenya? And
Mm-hmm.
if y'all remember what Viserys said, he said, my God, this family's already had their Visenya. Like, there's a lot to come with her. But I
Yeah.
just thought it was just a little, like, Easter egg for what
Okay.
Jay said. I hope you don't look to follow her example. Once again, we don't read the books, but we do find some interesting things from time to time. Rachel, I think we
Yeah.
covered everything. Is there anything else that you want to mention?
No, I'm excited for next week. Like I said, it looks like we get back into the action of next week, even if it's not battle. I think that there will be a lot going on just based off of the trailer. For us to have not loved this episode, we still got 2 hours
Yeah.
essentially worth of conversation. Thank y'all for riding with us on this House of Dragons journey. We love y'all. Thank you so much for listening. I bid y'all adieu. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We got y'all
Love
pod.
y'all. Love y'all. Hey, fuck the phrase. The North remembers. Peace.
Fuck the phrase. I was late. I didn't say it with you. But yes,
Yeah.
fuck the phrase.
Yeah. The North remembers. That's all I
What you
got to
were
say.
gonna say, but I wasn't sure. I was anticipating it, but I wasn't positive. But
It's
yeah,
all
fuck the
good.
for
Rachel,
sure.
I love you. We love
I love
y'all.
you.
We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.